The Mavericks fall in dramatic fashion on the road to the Indiana Pacers. How they fell in the game. We'll discuss it next on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato, Mavericks analyst Bobby Carell, and our national NBA insider, Mark Stein. We, of course, are DLLS Mavs. Appreciate you joining us here on the postgame show as the Mavericks fall 135-131 on the road to the Indiana Pacers, where the Pacers outscore the Mavericks by 11 points in the final 60 seconds. Andrew Nembhard's three-pointer with 16 seconds to go, the go-ahead and game winner for the Indiana Pacers, as the Mavericks now fall to 33-37 on the season, unfortunately with their fourth straight loss. We'll break it down all for you over the course of the next hour. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to DLLS Sports while you are here. As well as, gentlemen, the Mavericks gave a terrific effort tonight. Kai Jones with a double-double. PJ Washington over 20 points. Jaden Hardy with his fifth 20-plus point game this season. Not enough in the end. Turnovers at the wrong time, Max Christie, cost this team an opportunity to break the losing streak.
Jaden Hardy, you know.
Well, I was thinking about just the one that led to the Nembhard three-pointer, but yes,
Jaden Hardy
for sure.
also had a turnover that led to the immediate steal.
Yes.
The Athletic's Christian Clark made a really good point just now on Twitter. He said, "This is the rare game where both teams intentionally fouled up three in the final minute." That's pretty hard to do. That is a impressive series and in circumstance of events. That was a game. It sure was a game right there.
Yeah, I just think, like, especially in that Max case, now the Hardy one was a little different because he kind of caught the ball in a weird spot, so we sort of had to move and dribble. But if you're ever in the backcourt or even in the front court and you know you're going to get fouled, why would you ever pivot? Why would you ever dribble? Just, like, cradle the ball and do this and make them grab you, make them foul you. You know, Max is 21 or 22 or whatever, and
22.
Yeah, and, you know, it's not like he's been in a whole lot of late-game situations in his career. Same with Hardy, honestly. He usually doesn't close games. I mean, let's be honest, a lot of the guys that are going to be on the court for the Mavs over the last few weeks of the seasons aren't supposed to be closing games and haven't closed many games, so I expect to see a lot of mistakes. But, yeah, I mean, that was just an absolutely chaotic game that I feel like both teams should have won and both teams should have lost.
Yeah, normally I would say, given the Mavs circumstances, given that I think a good portion of our friends who watch this show and root for this team don't mind losses because they theoretically help with draft positioning. So normally when the Mavs play valiantly and lose, you would say in the current circumstances that's an okay outcome. But this was root canal territory to lose in this fashion. To have only 8 guys go to a team that made the conference finals in the East last year, be up 11 after you were down 16, and unravel in this fashion. Not a long flight home, but it will not be a fun flight home.
And I think that is what stands out to me. It's not. I don't think the result would have mattered either way. I think Dallas is going to be the 10th seed in the play-in tournament. I think Anthony Davis is going to come back. They're going to win some games. I do not think the Phoenix Suns are going to win enough games, especially with this 10-game stretch coming up. I just don't think this result ultimately mattered. I think everything that is going to happen this season is going to play out the same way, results or not. But when you're in the midst of a season where you keep hitting what seems like the rock bottom, and then you have the hopes build of, such a commendable, gritty effort game from these 8 guys who are available, a new set of 8 guys. a new unique starting lineup. And to lose in this way, it's just astonishing how this season keeps giving new rock bottoms, because that is a horrible way to lose. That cannot feel good in the locker room.
You remind me of a story. Very soon after I moved to Dallas.
Okay.
I just started covering the Mavericks. I was at the Dallas Morning News. It was very, very early in my tenure year, and this
Glory days.
This was pre-Cuban, so it was very not glorious. And I remember in a story saying something to the effect of "new low" or "rock bottom" or some kind of phrasing like that, and I got an angry summons from the deputy sports editor at the Dallas Morning News, Bobby H. He's like, "Mark, I know you're new here, but don't ever say things like rock bottom around here, because the Mavs can always sink lower." And I,
Oh, wow.
and this was in the '90s when they really were the worst franchise in the NBA.
That's the thing, man. It's
that's what Tim's speech just jarred my memory.
Like, what a terrible loss, and I'm not even sure it was the worst loss this week. Like, this isn't even this week's rock bottom. But yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like, I don't know how emotionally draining or defeating a loss like this is. I guess none of us are with the team right now to know.
No, you got it, but it is.
But it's like, but at what point do you become numb? I think is like what I'm thinking about. Like, it's skipping ahead to like just defeatism. Like,
They didn't play like a team that was going to be numb to, just continuing to lose. I mean, they were down as many as 16, and they fought their ass off to get back in this game and have a lead, to be able to have a chance to win this game, and to lose it the way that they did. I mean, as Tim mentioned, it's just another creative way to find a way to lose a basketball game. And like Bobby just said, it may not have been the worst loss of the week, because you lost to a 76ers team that's really bad. In fact, they're getting blown up by nearly 50 tonight on the road to the Thunder. The Thunder.
And the Thunder don't have Shea, I believe.
Philly didn't want to win that game either.
I mean, my point is,
I did the PHLY show. They were crestfallen.
That's what I'm saying. You lost to a team.
Rock bottom.
Yeah, that isn't trying to necessarily win games.
I'm sorry. The Thunder do not have Shea or Jalen Williams.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And at one point, I think it was 120 to 82 in that game between the Sixers
and they do not have
Thunder.
Caruso or Dort. They're missing their entire starting lineup outside of Chet. And they're beating. I mean, they're up.
They're beating the brakes
19.
off of them. Yeah,
they're up 19. Quentin Grimes is 29 again. with 2 minutes to play.
Sure.
2.5.
Quentin Grimes came into tonight averaging 29 a game in March.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's right on
Indeed
cue.
Indeed he did.
Quentin Grimes 4 points away Monday night in Houston from becoming the 17th, from providing the NBA its 17th 50-point game of the season. Fell 4 points shy.
What I'm very thankful about this game, it sucks. I hate, I hate it for the players that, like, the players both didn't and did earn this win. I think you said it, Bobby, both teams that kind of felt like did not earn the win necessarily. But it's just an awful way to lose. And I do think some of it is that young players were put in positions to make mistakes, not put by anybody. There is no other options. There is no choices. But it's young players making mistakes late in the game, and that's rough, and that's what's going to happen. And it's not, that's a learning process, but you just hate to see them have to learn this way. It's not enjoyable for anybody.
With the loss, that is now 11 losses in the last 13 games for the Dallas Mavericks. They are now 33-37 on the year, falling to 14-21 on the road. With a win tonight by the Phoenix Suns, they would move into the 10th spot in the play-in situation as the Suns host the Chicago Bulls as we speak right now in Phoenix.
The Bulls, who are synonymous with the number 10th seed in the NBA, that would be fitting for the Suns to move into 10th against the intractables, who cannot be dislodged from the number 10 seed in the East, no matter what they do.
Well, the joke with them, Mark, they're actually in 9th now.
Yeah, did you guys see
the CHGO's headline? Yeah.
Oh my God. Can we have a bucket of hats? Yeah. What was the CHGO, the host? I'm blanking on his name.
Well, Gottlieb is one of them, and Matt Peck, and
Matt Peck. It was Matt Peck, and he just had a bin full of hats, and he kept ripping one off, throwing it to the side. Actually, he wasn't even ripping it off. He was so animated it would fall off.
We're not the 10 seed. We're not 10.
It was a great bit.
The Mavericks.
God, Miami. How did they let them get? How did they let the Bulls climb above them?
Because they also traded their best player.
Yeah, and Bam
Did they end up losing tonight?
I don't know, but Bam Adebayo's been awful as of late.
Detroit came back and won. Miami has lost 9 in a row for the first time ever under Eric Spoelstra. Seriously, we need to have like a Mavericks, Suns, Heat, Sixers, the miserable off.
I mean, we had the season from hell game of the year on Sunday, and the Sixers won that one.
That was actually a fun game.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty damn entertaining.
Mavs and Bulls up next.
That is coming
See them pretty soon. And then they still got Miami one more time, don't they? No, they're done. They're done with Miami.
Yeah, but they got the Fighting Tim
And
Hardaway.
Jimmy Butler's coming to Miami on Tuesday.
I would like to
Tim
proffer
Hardaway
one
coming
thing.
here on Friday.
This is how,
Detroit.
after almost every game Dallas has lost over the past few weeks, there's actually a lot to talk about from this game.
Yeah,
I'm down to lock in and talk. Like, this is a game I'm actually excited to go in on and kind of go through. Yeah, go in on it.
No.
I'm going in on this game.
I know, I'm
saying.
not laughing at what you said. I'm looking at Stein's face like he is serious about talking about this.
There was
game.
good stuff.
Cato's corner just basically scolding me. Like, I'm trying to keep it light and broad. And Tim Cato wants to do a
No,
deep,
we're going to lock in on this game, damn
Tim
it. We're
Cato
going to lock
wants to
in
do
on this one.
a deep dive on Jaden Hardy.
There was good stuff
Kai
in this
Jones.
game.
Okay, there was
there
some
really
fun
were.
stuff.
I want to talk about the entire last minute and how it happened, you know?
We can just do a blow by. That last minute took about an
Cato
hour.
2 corners.
This is everybody who's like, you guys don't talk about the Mavs anymore. I'm like, you know,
This is our chance.
This
is our shot.
You know, you're gonna get a whole, you know, a couple full segments of Mavs talk. Like, this is one where we actually have some things to say.
Guaranteed.
Well, I'm going to let
Oh,
you
man.
lock in on that coming up next time. Let me give you some more particulars.
Guaranteed.
That's right. That's right. Mavericks had 6 guys in double figures tonight. PJ Washington had 26 points. Kai Jones, his second double-double in as many games with the Dallas Mavericks. He had what was 18 and 11 for the Mavericks tonight, getting his first career start with Dallas tonight. And the Pacers, they had 5 guys in double figures led by Pascal Siakam. He had 29 points. Benedict Mathurin had 23 points in this game, 16 of which came in the fourth quarter. He came alive for Indiana in that final period there. But the Mavericks got a lot of contributions from a lot of different guys. Najee Marshall, constant attack. Spencer Dinwiddie had a double-double tonight as well with double-digit assists. There were a lot of guys that played well. And again, in all seriousness, this is a team that competed very hard tonight to try to take on an Indiana team that's competing to try and keep the 4th spot in and of themselves. A team with no Tyrese Halliburton in this game. The Mavericks were shorthanded. Klay Thompson was a late scratch due to illness coming into the game. But before we go to break, Tim, obviously this team played very, very hard.
I think
Can I do some trivia?
I think
Oh,
Bobby,
yo,
Can I
I'm
just,
sorry, go
it's
ahead.
a
I'm
minute,
sorry,
minute and
yeah,
a
go
half.
ahead.
It's quick
Yeah.
trivia.
Yeah.
Mark Stein, you will like this one. So tonight, the Mavs had 6 players that scored at least 17 points, which ties the franchise record. I will tell you the season that they set the franchise record, and I want you guys to tell me the players that did it.
Awesome.
1986, it was the 86-87 season. Can you name those 6 players?
Aguirre,
Yes.
Blackman,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Donaldson,
Yes.
Schrempf,
No.
Brad Davis.
No.
Tarpley,
No.
No, Tarpley.
Dale
okay.
Ellis.
No.
Damn it!
Wow.
How many do we have?
I'm running out.
4.
This answer is going to piss me off. Who
Brandon
is
Wright.
it?
Need 2 more. Need-
1986, 87, Jay
Yeah.
Vincent,
No.
Um,
Oh,
Think-
wow.
Smooth.
Sam Perkins.
Yes.
Okay.
And then
when was Fat Lever?
Detlef
on the
Schrempf,
team?
did I already say?
Not this one.
you already
But-
said him, and it's not him.
When
I don't
was,
know.
I don't want him to see. I don't want either of these guys to see.
I'm not cheating. I want
He's
to get
not-
the right
I
answer.
wouldn't
I've
cheat
already
anyway.
failed.
All
I've
right.
already failed.
Who's the
the
last
correct
one?
answer is the
Wait,
guy.
wait. Was it Josh Howard?
No.
Give us a hint.
It was the guy that they traded Dale Ellis for.
Antoine Walker.
What?
Guy they
O.J.
traded
Mayo?
Dale Ellis for.
Roddy Beaubois.
This was his last season in the NBA.
Why can't I know who
his
it is and
last
I can't
season.
Or
remember?
it was his last stop in the NBA.
Was it?
Al Wood
Al Wood.
Oh, we would have not got that one at all.
You sure? it
from
wasn't-
the Seattle
You sure it wasn't Brandon Bass?
Sonics.
Was it Jared Utoff?
Were you born in the 86, 87 season?
No,
I was born in 1986.
I was born a while after.
Someday,
All right.
hey, someday, before we go to break, someday, I'm just teasing this, someday we're going to do a show to try to figure out how Kevin Gray knows every TV show that I grew up with, even though he's 20 years younger. Stay tuned for that segment. That's coming up probably in May.
or April 18th. Who knows? Let's take our first break here on the DLLS Mavs post-game show. When we come back, Cato's Corner going to break it down the last minutes of the fourth quarter, how the Mavericks blew what was a 7-point lead in 60 seconds. We'll discuss that and more coming up next on the DLLS Mavs post-game show. But let me talk to you about Ownwell. If you own property, if you own a home, you know it's property tax season where you get that nasty letter in the mail, let you know how much your property tax is going to be. If you don't want to pay more than what you owe, you got to use Ownwell to do it. Owning property comes with plenty of challenges. I know as a homeowner, I definitely know that. But Ownwell believes that when it comes to paying property tax, you should only pay what's fair. Ownwell handles everything from start to finish and delivers top results, no upfront costs, and you only pay if you save. Ownwell, 86% of Ownwell's customers receive a reduction with an average customer savings of over $1,100. Hundreds of thousands of customers, happy customers, and 5-star reviews as well. Remember, the deadline to protest is May 15th for most counties. Save money on your property tax with Ownwell. Sign up in less than 3 minutes and start your protest today at ownwell.com/DLLS. That's OWNWELL.com/DLLS.
Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last from our friends at Shady Rays. I assume the season ahead they're talking about is baseball, which would also make a lot more sense for the sunglasses wearing while attending such an event. But Shady Rays has you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. They're an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor baseball adventures, but also other adventures. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're about to find the perfect pair to match your style. They probably have a style in your team's favorite colors. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code DLLS for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
Mavericks get outscored by 11 in the final 60 seconds of tonight's game to lose 135-131 on the road, despite having 6 guys in double figures tonight out of the 8 players that were available for Dallas as they lose their 4th straight game and now 11 of their last 13, dropping to 33 and 37, pending the outcome of tonight's game between the Phoenix Suns and the Chicago Bulls. The Mavericks could wake up tomorrow in the 11th spot in the West if the Suns win tonight's game. Can
we throw out a poll question?
Sure.
Tanner,
if Tanner allows it.
Tanner, quick poll question before we get to Cato's 2 corners. Before we get to Cato's 4 corners, let's throw out this poll question.
I am not the intersection of Colorado, Nevada, New Mexico, and Arizona.
All right.
I was trying to see if I can remember them.
Do our friends in chat want to wake up in the morning and see the Mavs in the 11th seed? So shorten that to whatever it needs to be shortened to for poll purposes. But do our friends in the chat, will they be happy if the Mavs wake up on Thursday morning as the 11th seed in the West? Yeah. Good thing if Mavs are 11th on Thursday morning. However you have to do it to make it chat formatable.
Shout out to
I'll shut up now.
To DDZ. Greetings from Mexico. I'll pull my favorite Blake Griffin
Yes. Tell us where you're watching from. Thank you.
My favorite Blake Griffin saying.
Querétaro, Mexico.
Hola, Mexico.
Like it.
Love that. Tim, 60 seconds of calamity. Mavericks were up by 7 with 60 seconds left. Somehow they wound up on the wrong end of what was a really spirited effort for the Mavericks to get back into this game. A game they were down by as many as 16 to give themselves an opportunity to win. But the last minute of this game, my gosh.
The Indiana Pacers should be absolutely just embarrassed at the defense they played for 47 minutes of this game. But that's neither here nor there. It was really
very sad. Very sad.
Pascal Siakam, very unimpressive for someone who's supposed to be good on that end.
I forgot the Pacers are a team that likes to play down to their competition because they definitely did that tonight as the game went on for sure.
Something about Carlisle coach teams. So
no Halliburton, to be fair, but still.
No Halliburton. But, I mean, Dallas had
8 guys tonight available.
I mean, it was 145 to 140.
Yeah. So 107 left in the game. Max Christie gets fouled on a 3, makes all 3 free throws. That should count for your sleeper pick.
I agree.
You know,
You raise a compelling point.
That's a great point.
You make all 3, you get a FGM.
We need to be in touch with the fine folks at sleeper.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
I agree.
And the score is 128-121. 107 remaining. Benedict Mathurin, who had just scored 3 times in a row,
3 times in a row, yeah.
goes down, gets fouled, makes both. And then Jaden Hardy commits a very, very, very bad turnover. And it's just a half court thing. Honestly, at this point, I think Rick Arla had brought up, he had brought up the defense, into a full court press, partially to see if they could get steals, but partially just to wake up the defense was my interpretation of it. He's like, if you guys aren't going to guard him for 48 feet, you might as well mess up in the backcourt, or maybe this is going to energize you to actually try. That was my read of basically what he was doing. A little bit of desperation, a little bit of, will you guys please, take this in seriously. And it's a steal. It immediately goes to a Ben Shepherd layup. And so that cuts it. Mathurin had made both free throws. So all of a sudden, a 7-point game with 59 seconds. So one is 3 points. One shot. PJ Washington goes down, gets fouled, but makes 1 of 2. You're going to see this again. Then it's another Mathurin foul. Once again, he makes both free throws. So all of a sudden, it's 129-127. Mavs take a full timeout. There's the other PJ Washington foul. This one, the Pacers challenge. PJ Washington, it stands. Still a foul. PJ Washington goes 1 of 2. Because there was a miss in there from the Pacers, I think. Somewhere in there. I don't know. I'm just trying to read this box score. It's all blurring together. But the one we want to talk about is what comes next. It's there's the Max Christie lost ball turnover. We kind of covered that.
Get in the weight room, son. No, I'm just joking.
He was put in a tough situation.
Yeah.
He didn't really have an immediate outlet. He's doubled. It was a situation where, yes, you probably the best thing is just to hold the ball. But if the Pacers were smart enough, they would have sat him down and just waited for 8 seconds.
Yeah, but then also
nowhere for him.
You got to keep your head up. You got to keep your eyes up. Because if there's 2 on you, then someone's open. So
but he's pivoting to try to find somebody.
Yeah,
or to see if he can get out of there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to make it seem like it's easy or anything, but I know. You get caught in no man's land and then you kind of panic, and it's like, no, you have to do everything with intent, do everything with purpose.
Before that, there was the Nembhard foul up 3, and he had gone 1 of 2. The turnover, the Nembhard 3-pointer, that is the game, eventually the game winner. Then there's Jaden Hardy. Dallas down 1. Jaden Hardy is coming around, commits an off-ball foul. And he hit him. What I saw is that he hit Nesmith in the nose.
I didn't like that call.
I'm not sure I liked that call. I understood why it was called. I think it probably should have been a no call, but I don't think it was a flop.
I think that he embellished. And I think
Maybe.
that's like the, we don't have to have that conversation now or ever, please. But I think that's the real issue on the tweeter right now about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and about the NBA in general. You'd have to be a mega hater to say that Shai doesn't get fouled a lot. But the issue that I personally have, and that I think a lot of people have, isn't that he's flopping, so making contact that isn't there, responding to contact that doesn't happen, but it is reacting dramatically to contact that might be a foul, or maybe even is a foul, but is not eliciting that level of reaction.
I always have such benefit of the doubt when it comes to the face, though. He got bopped in the nose with an elbow. And it was not an elbow with force, but it was a loose elbow flopping around. And if you rewatch it, Nesmith tries to get back up. He understands that this is not necessary. I don't think he's sold out for the flop. He may have. I don't know. It is possible.
Guys that try and get up and do that for effect. You know that.
It looked pretty Oscar worthy.
Devin Booker did the same thing before saying the Luka special. Like,
Yeah,
that
he
kind of
did.
stuff happens a lot, you know? Because, like, I think the other thing is, you know, officials oftentimes will respond to the intensity, the appearance of intensity of the injury or of the contact, and say, maybe we should go look at that for a flagrant.
Mhm.
And at that point, you draw a flagrant foul, the game is over. Like, you're winning the game.
And I think, you know, Ray Jack Wins is saying this. A few people saying this in the chat that, you know, Nesmith was holding Hardy. I do think that the sum of all events that happened there and a whistle being blown, the Pacers are very fortunate that it was an offensive foul. That said, I thought earlier in the fourth quarter the Pacers also got a tougher whistle. So these things kind of even out.
I mean, I agree. Hardy hit him in the face. Hardy should not have tried to hit him with a swim move because, like, he'd already beaten him. Hardy was trying to flop. Like, they were both flopping. They were both embellishing.
Yeah.
It
should have probably been nothing.
Yeah, I think it's just really disappointing whenever that stuff gets rewarded. Whether that's a Mav or a Mav opponent, I'm not a crybaby. I don't care. Just play basketball. That's all I want.
Well,
play
now
basketball.
we're getting to the real point, which is that the fourth quarter was a total embarrassment.
Oh, it was awful.
It was
Yeah.
hideous. How many combined free throws? 38?
36 combined free
36.
throws, 36 combined field goal attempts. There was one free throw attempt for every shot attempt. That is brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. That was
So-
like an hour-long fourth quarter.
So here's my thing. I don't understand why, just for the accuracy of the game, to make sure that every call is right, that we aren't stopping after every possession and reviewing them. I think we need more reviews. I think we need reviews every time.
Do you
I think-
want to get thrown off this show? Is that your aim right now?
Get it right. Get the call right.
I think that accuracy should be promoted over everything, and I think that these games should go on for 48 hours.
I agree. I
I
want to
don't.
earn it.
Every missed call,
Landlord, raise my rent. I want it to be tougher.
every missed call, there is nothing worse.
Check out Ownwell to make sure it doesn't happen.
It is humanity has the ability to fix this, and yet we let missed calls go by every single day. Just challenge it all.
Shout out to our folks in Italy. Watching
let's
all the
go.
way in Italy, in Milan. Wow.
Have you seen Christian Pulisic yet? What does he do around town? Also, Yunus Musa, who I love more.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
2 U.S. legends, right?
Though they're currently playing. But yes,
Yes.
Pulisic is the best American of all time, most talented, best.
The best
Captain
American? That's George Washington, brother. You don't know what you're talking about.
Captain America. Shout out
Man.
to Christian Pulisic.
I
The best American of all time.
I would have gone for Abe
Ben
Lincoln.
Franklin.
I would
So
have gone for Abe Lincoln.
before I say that, so what's with all of that being said, what is your takeaway from that as far as those last 60 seconds are concerned? Like the terrible foul call, like what was the part that just really really
PJ Washington, if he had made free throws, would have put this game away. This never would have happened. Young players made mistakes in situations that were tough for them to be put in, that they were put in because of these situations, because of Dallas's injury crisis. You've got players like this closing games. You could make the argument that Jaden Hardy lost the game. I think a lot of people lost this game for Dallas. But you can make, he had 2 turnovers, and you can make that argument. But this was a good Jaden Hardy game. And so I it's really eye of the beholder, which way you want to spin it. I don't know if you want to be like, well, yeah, Jaden Hardy had 24 points, but look, you can't trust him in clutch time. He still had these mistake-prone moments.
it was the full Jaden Hardy experience.
You could certainly make that argument, but I think that it's tough to put him in that situation. And, I feel more for Max's turnover. I don't think that was a well-designed inbounds, and I thought he got put in a really bad spot. But Dallas is also not in the game without Jaden Hardy popping off a little bit. 24 points on 8 of 13 shooting. This is what he's capable of. He is an NBA scorer. He is somebody who can absolutely get you buckets. He can do it efficiently, in certain games. Can he do it efficiently over the course of the season? That's what we're continuing to look for him to do. But he's obviously got NBA-level skills and full Jaden Hardy experience. He does need to iron out these mistakes. It just sucks that they had to happen in this way. But yeah, I think it was a team-wide effort to lose that game. I think it was also just very confluence of events. I think anytime you're going to lose when you're up 7 with 59 seconds remaining,
That's all right.
it does take a confluence of events, but tough loss, and it's nice to see a different player out there. A couple different players out there. We probably should do Kai Jones next segment for a sec.
We could talk about
I don't even have super strong thoughts. But
That's
I would love to
Cato's
hear
second
y'all.
corner.
No, it's Kai Jones' corner.
Let's take our next break here on the DLLS Mavs post-game show. When we come back, some of the other big contributors to tonight's game, as unfortunately the Mavericks fall on the road to the Indiana Pacers. Plus, a little bit later on, we'll dial up the timeline with our National NBA insider, Mark Stein. All that and more coming up next year on the DLLS Mavs post-game show. But let me brighten up your day with some Saturday Neon collegiate logo LED signs. Started by 2 college friends, Saturday Neon makes officially licensed collegiate logo LED neon signs. Perfect for your home, office, dorm room, fan cave, or bar as well. Check out their new Essentials collection that they have. Almost 50 of the biggest schools across the country and counting for only $75. That includes Texas, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State signs as well. Unlike traditional neon, these LED signs won't break or shatter, but still give you that classic uniform look and style that you always look for. Super easy to install, provided hardware or with 3M command strips as well. They're the perfect gift for the perfect sports fan in your life. So make sure you head over to SaturdayNeon.com. Again, that's SaturdayNeon.com and use code DLLS for 10% off. Again, SaturdayNeon.com. Use code DLLS for 10% off your LED sign today.
One of the most riveting, exciting, and heartbreaking moments of the game was when Max Christie hoisted a 3 right out of halftime, and it went like 80% of the way down and then rolled out. I, of course, bravely predicted Max Christie to make at least 2 of those bad boys tonight. He didn't. He only made 1, so my sleeper pick of the night failed. I got Nesmith. I got Nembhard. I got PJ. But Max, you let me down, man. That's all right. I got you again next game, and you can join me on Sleeper. It's the best fantasy league platform out there, but they also give you the option to pick whether your favorite or least favorite players will record more or less than their projected stats each and
about
every
so much when guys are trying to do reads.
single night. Keeps you in the loop on all the injuries, too. So outsmart your friends and join me on the Sleeper app. Use promo code DLLS Mavs. Play $5. You can get $55 free to use on any play. Doesn't even have to be your first. Check out the terms of use. It's available in 25 states, including Texas. So check out Sleeper today.
I was laughing, Mark, because Luka got 14 in 7 minutes against the Nuggets so far, and they're already up 11 in the first quarter on Denver.
I had something to add on what Tim was saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think it's one of these tropes, right? Like these truisms to look at a team, like a young team losing, and say, "Oh, that's just inexperience." When like some of it might not be. But I really do think that tonight was just inexperience. Like some carelessness with the ball, some unnecessary looking for contact on inbounds plays. Maybe some shot selection that was a little weird at times down the stretch in that game.
There's a full court press.
Yeah.
You don't see that a lot in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean that reminded me of. Granted, the stakes were much different given the team's record, but there was a game back in 2019-20 in December of 2019. The Mavs were at Toronto. Luka was out that game. This was right after he'd sprained his ankle against Miami, so he did not play. The Mavs go up 30 in the third quarter and lose. They lost the game. The Raptors pressed them the entire fourth quarter, and the Mavs kept coughing up. And Jalen Brunson played in that game. KP played in that game. Guys that have gone on to, obviously, KP at the time was already kind of a vet, but like guys that have gone on to become incredible veteran players that just have the savvy and stuff, but like, you're a little young, you're a little inexperienced, maybe you're playing a role that you're not supposed to be, you don't have that steadying force out there, all of a sudden things can get weird really quickly, even whenever teams are kind of deploying garbage tactics against you, just throwing junk at you. And so I think, if anything tonight, kind of the glaring weakness was experience, like just one steadying force. I saw someone mention Clay in the chat. I'm not sure Clay would have totally helped just because he's a little loose with the ball too, but certainly Kyrie, certainly just someone that can steady it a little bit.
Spivey says Brandon Williams, and
also very he can handle the ball,
but
he's tighter with the ball than Max or Jaden,
I probably would trust him in that situation a little bit more than the other option.
Yeah,
I definitely co-sign that.
Yeah, and so it's tough to say how much of that is skill versus how much of that is experience, but I want to lean on experience. or lean toward experience. So that's what I would say. I think tonight was a really good example of why experience matters so much.
Yeah, and not to just elaborate a point to death, but like obviously Jaden Hardy, Max Christie, they have faced full court presses. They have not faced NBA full court presses against NBA athletes.
I mean, Nembhard and Neesmith are getting up in your
that's
getting in your
that is
face.
such a different thing. And obviously everybody knows this. The reason you don't see a lot of full court press in the NBA is that veteran point guards navigate out of it with ease. There's no benefit to doing it. There's almost no benefit. When you see someone picking up full court, it's to tire the guy out or try to.
Nembhard is as good defensively
Nembhard
in the backcourt.
defensively in the
I mean,
first half.
seriously, his emergence has been like Halliburton was off tonight, but his ability to play with Halliburton has changed Indiana's fortunes as much as anything.
There were two straight possessions. He stymied PJ.
Oh man,
he was trying to back him up, take him off the bounce twice in the first quarter. And Nembhard was like,
And man, they have him on such a good contract.
Yeah, he was on my list for a couple years.
It's entirely overused word, but Nembhard also just oozes aura. Like something about him.
He's just cool.
He's a good player.
Yeah. He's got like a cool look to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just
Are any of us on this panel qualified to judge aura?
I don't know.
Yeah, why not?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think any of us would be here if we didn't have
maybe the camera right.
I mean,
show can.
Low key, we wouldn't be here if we didn't have at least a little bit of
that.
it. So.
Did you hear that? Super Kev says we have aura, all of us. At least 3 out of the 4 of us.
Stein, look, I appreciate how you really kind of keep it low key, but doggone it, man, you've been around here for like 40 years. Like, no, I'm just joking. No, you've been covering league for such a long time. Like,
Stein, you have shoes that zip up. Like, is that not aura?
Like, you got the only DLLS.
If I even dare, if I even dare to talk about aura, I think my kids would say,
"You are Mark freaking
shut up, old man. You don't even know what you don't even know what it means."
Does Kai Jones have aura?
That's right.
What's
like,
that,
I used
what's
to watch
that from?
Like, Mark, I used to watch you on Sports Center. Like, I would watch you do NBA updates.
That was many years and pounds ago.
It don't matter. I was watching you do up, and I'm sitting next to you doing shows with you now.
Did you ever do
Thank
Around
you,
the
Super
Horn?
Kev. Never once made the cut for Around the Horn.
Unbelievable.
Damn.
Never once made the cut.
A
few occasional guest spots on PTI, like the 5 minutes with. But never made it to Around the Horn.
Talking about an institution on television.
TNT Vibes says Stein is the most aura. So
thank you.
We always trust chat.
Thank you.
Chat is the denominator, the rule of the arbiter. The arbiter.
He has the only DLLS hat available in existence.
It's a one of one.
It's literally a one of one. Oh, the poll. Do you want to wake up in the morning and see the Mavs have moved down to the 11 seed? 67% of respondents said yes. 32% of respondents said
notice the
no.
way I blathered on, but Tanner summed it up neatly in a nice printable graphic.
That's why he's
That's
the
actually
producer.
lovely. Yeah,
that's why he is the producer.
Tan man.
I will say again,
he's a pro.
My
producer.
stance is it just doesn't matter, and Dallas is going to be 10. I really do believe that.
But if the Suns win tonight, they're already 10th.
Yeah, because they got the
coming
tiebreaker.
back, and the Suns' schedule gets hard after this game. I don't think it's going to matter.
Y'all want to laugh some more?
About what?
You don't want to laugh some more? Oh, you know what I'm going to say?
What,
Nuggets have 20 points.
And Luka has 20?
Luka's got 20 in 8 minutes against the Nuggets.
Yeah.
So there you go. Kai Jones had a big night tonight. Double-double for him. Second double-double in as many games as a Dallas Maverick. Got the start tonight for Dallas as well. Can we get the updated counter, please, on the two-way game situation for the Dallas Mavericks? With tonight's game, Brandon Williams, who was out tonight, he had left hamstring tightness, so he still has 5 games remaining on his two-way contract.
Which also, did he have it, or did they decide Jaden Hardy's back? Maybe we can steal a game for him here.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Well, you would have normally thought so, but then Klay Thompson was deemed unavailable through illness. So, I mean, you're really cutting it close, shorthanded in the backcourt.
I agree. I think because it was 8 players, I would assume it was. But that's also worrisome. Like, he's been dealing with this off and on. But anyway, sorry.
And Kessler Edwards down to 1 game. That is amazing.
And Kessler Edwards is now down to 1 game, which means if he's not made inactive on Friday against Detroit, that means he would be playing in his final game on his two-way contract with the Dallas Mavericks, which by indications, given their injury situation, I would imagine it's a pretty good possibility that he would be playing.
But here you see, with the way Kai Jones has played in the limited time that the Mavs have actually seen him on the floor, you could make a case that any one of the 3 two-ways should be converted to a standard contract.
Sure.
I mean, Kai Jones had never scored 12 points in an NBA game until he became more than 12 until he became a Maverick, and he's already done it twice. Like, all 3 of those guys, you could make the case
He's playing hard.
He's playing hard.
Deserve being converted to a standard deal. And it was, were we supposed to, have we started the Kai Jones conversation yet, or am I
am
I jumping the gun?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I mean, as great as Kessler's been as a fill-in center, and having to play small ball 5, like, it's nice to actually have someone who is a actual center playing center.
It reminds me what it's like to watch big men do big man stuff.
And to think about what Jones and Moses Brown during his 10-day deal, like, as dire as it's been for the Mavs, to have all 3 of their recognized first choice bigs unavailable through injury, the performances they've gotten from Kai Jones and Moses Brown, kind of ridiculous.
I think my big picture thoughts on him is I don't have a good sense of his defense yet. He had a couple really spacey moments, but other moments that were pretty good. He's obviously athletic and has size. Offensively, I am pretty sure if he's consistently this player, then he is going to be a consistent plus offensive player. Now, it won't always be as smooth as it was today. That dribble drive in the first quarter was both awesome and cool, but also something you could easily see, end up as a turnover. But at the same time, like, he did it.
Yeah, nice little turnaround fadeaway too.
He had a turnaround fadeaway. The only reason, he missed his last shot, which was another turnaround fade, but it was just a rim out. It was like he was out there. This is not even a situation where he was like, even his misses looked like he knew exactly
competent. Looked like competent.
Looked like
misses.
he knew what he was doing.
Yes.
One time probably should have jumped in and got free throws off a pump fake. But overall, like, you just have a big athletic guy who can finish, and that's the crucial thing. It's not just the athleticism, but it's the ability to use it functionally to do good basketball things around the rim. I think I've seen enough that pretty clearly I think he would be that as an offensive player. It's the defense I don't have a great read on. I would like to see for a few more games.
Sure.
But it's nice to have something to keep watching for a few more games, because let me tell you, over the past couple of weeks, we have not had that much to like really hone in on and try to assess. So,
and he was a plus 12 in the 24 minutes that he played, going 8 of 9 from the field, 18 points, 11 rebounds in his time on the floor.
No, go ahead. Does getting to see a historic performance from Bill Kennedy tonight, did that do anything to raise your enjoyment level of the game?
Oh my gosh. When I found out that Bill Kennedy was officiating tonight's game, I instantly locked in that much more. I was like, oh,
and therefore the challenge is deemed unsuccessful.
Unfortunately, it was great.
We must protect. If there is one official that must be protected at all costs,
it won't.
Scott Foster.
Hell no.
It won't happen.
Hell no.
It won't happen.
A calf injury. He's out indefinitely with a calf injury.
It won't happen. But I'm gonna formally put in a request with the league to see if we can get Bill Kennedy to come in studio.
Let's
We should
go.
do it.
Let's go.
It'll be.
We won't ask him about controversial calls.
Yeah.
No.
We just want to ask him about his.
No.
I want to know
replays.
the process at which he goes through to get himself prepared mentally to deliver these calls.
We don't
every
even
single
pitch it
game.
as an interview. We're not going to ask a single question. We're going to have some line reads for him,
Oh,
and we're gonna let
how
him
you
deliver them on camera.
Favorite
Yes.
guys covering your favorite team.
team.
Unfortunately, though,
They lost.
your team is bad.
Protect Bill Kennedy at
If
all
you're
costs.
going on a
damn it.
camping trip, you need rugged roads.
See? Let's see what you're doing there. Let's take our final break here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show, because Bobby said we get out of here on time, okay? We dive into and dial up Stein line with our national NBA insider.
We sure about that? Is that on the script?
It's on mine, so you better
It's
get
on
ready.
the one we're handing Bill Kennedy.
Oh wow!
Unfortunately,
NBA script
the
joke.
timeline is disconnected.
There's not a third. There's not a third Cato's Corner topic.
I got plenty of crap I can talk about.
Cut
too,
it, Tanner. Cut it to the commercial. We're coming back next on the DLLS Mavs postgame show.
Die Hard time. Hey, shout out to John P in the chat. John P, a recent Die Hard sign up. And John says, if you're here and like the episode, consider becoming a Die Hard. Had a great chat on Discord during the game. First off, hell yeah. Secondly, the Discord rules. And there's channels in our Discord for every team. So at DLLS Sports, we cover the Mavs, the Stars, the Rangers, and the Cowboys. We also have a channel for food. Earlier today, a Die Hard was educating everybody on, I believe their background is in, oh God, I don't remember even the name of the word. That's why I need to read it. But they were explaining different cuts of beef, different cuts of meat, and the differences between them and how to treat them, how to cook them, how to prepare them, and all that stuff. And it was incredible. There were people sharing photos of their cooked meats, and I love smoked meat. Let me tell you, I love
Why are you
it.
saying it like
You
that?
learn so much on
really
the
don't have to
DLLS
say
Die
it
Hard,
like
and you gain
that.
access to that whenever you become a Die Hard. If you scan the QR code right there, click the link in the description below, or alldls.com/diehard or offer. I don't know what the description is. My bad if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, but I trust that you'll find it. You too can become a Die Hard. You get a free shirt right when you sign up. You can join the Discord like what I was talking about. We just dropped that Finnish Mafia shirt for the Stars.
Let's
The
go.
red hot, or the green hot Dallas Stars. How about that? You also get to read the entire website of the premium paywall written stuff from folks like Tim and many others on the other beats in town. You get your physical Die Hard card. You get a discount on merch. You get a discount on events. We got a golf tournament coming up. Hell yeah.
That's right.
At Stevens Park Golf Course in Dallas. That is Friday, April 25th. You don't have to be a Die Hard to go, but if you're a Die Hard, you save 20% on the entry fee. It is you're playing in a foursome, so I think you can register as an individual or as a group of four. Go play. It should be a whole lot of fun. So there's more information about that on our website as well.
AllDLLS.com. Become a Die Hard member today. Join the over 19,200 strong in terms of our subscriber count for DLLS Sports as we move that much closer to 20,000 subscribers here at DLLS Sports. The best way you can support us and the easiest way is to like, comment, and subscribe to the video that you're watching right now. Mavericks fall 135-131 to the Indiana Pacers. They will be back at home on Friday when they welcome in the Fighting Tim Hardaways of Detroit and the Detroit Pistons for a home game before they go back on the road next week.
Cade Cunningham.
Ballin'. Cade Cunningham hit the game winner tonight on the road against
Can we consider that a
Miami.
local basketball story?
Of course we can. Cade Cunningham, one of only, I believe, 5 or 6 individuals averaging at least 25 and 5 on the year. Names include Giannis, Nikola Jokic, LeBron James. Like, Cade Cunningham has been fantastic for Detroit. So, and by the way, that game on Friday will be Cade's first game in the American Airlines Center as a member of the Detroit Pistons.
Regular season.
Yes,
He did
regular
have,
season, yes.
because he did have
Yes.
the postseason game that he was able to play in last season.
Yes.
And that's when he said, this is the first time I've actually got to play here, and talked about what a huge Dirk fan he is.
He had a postseason game?
Preseason.
Oh, preseason.
Preseason.
I
Preseason.
I was like, that didn't make any sense for a second to me.
Yeah.
So he was ducking Luka all these years, and now that Luka's finally gone, he's like, okay, well, I guess I'll play in this one.
This is how Luka would have looked at the American Airlines
I mean,
Center.
he's kind of like I was gonna say baby Luka, but like that's not right, and also they're not 1-to-1 players either. So
those are some of the comparisons I think that he was getting come out of Oklahoma State, like fringe comparisons to Luka, which is, I mean, you can't necessarily compare.
Honestly, and I don't. This is if Pistons fans heard what I'm about to say, they'd probably get mad at me, but I don't think there's enough of them for many of them to watch our show.
Damn.
He's like boring
only
Luka.
21-3-3 after a quarter for 77.
Or maybe not boring, but like he's very like mechanical, Luka. Where it's just is everything he does is a little bit more streamlined, but also like you've seen it before.
Yeah. What'd
Which
you
is
say,
fine.
Mark? I'm sorry.
It works. He's a great player.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying only 21-3-3 for Luka after a quarter tonight.
Awesome.
And I also saw on NBA Twitter, the Rockets clinched a playoff berth tonight. And the only reason I bring that up, because Are you guys familiar with Stratomatic?
I've heard of it.
So Stratomatic is a sports simulation game. And at my youthful geekiness at the age of 8, 9, 10, instead of socializing with kids and being a normal kid, I would sit in my room, sit on the floor, and play Stratomatic baseball, Stratomatic basketball, Stratomatic hockey. Infamously, I was supposed to go to a dance in 5th grade, and the UPS truck rolled on and dropped off Stratomatic hockey. Nope. No dance. I'm locking into a night of Stratomatic hockey. But anyway, so to this day, Stratomatic still, a game that was invented in the 60s, they do these tremendous simulations. So at the start of every season, I ask my friends at Stratomatic, who know that I've been a geeky follower and player of their game since the 70s, to simulate the season for me. And when I did the Stratomatic simulation in October for this season, what they came back with was that the Rockets of Houston would have the best record of the 3 Texas teams. I printed it. I scoffed. It induced much laughter. And they're going to end up being right.
Did Stratomatic predict the Luka trade?
Stratomatic did not.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah,
that would have sucked. That would have been amazing.
Probably would have brought it up if they called that shot in October.
My gosh.
I mean, the Houston's had an unbelievable year, and
8 straight wins for them now.
You what?
8 straight wins for Houston?
Is it really?
Yeah, 8 straight. Yeah,
and their rebuild, it was really a rebuild. They delved deep into the abyss. But they got out of it really quickly, which is impressive. Because like the Mavs, for example, whenever the Mavs, their whole kind of previous era fell apart or ended after the 2015-16 season, the Mavs were really bad record-wise for 3 years and then have been in the playoffs since, with the exception of 23.
Well, also, but the reason they got good again quickly is they chose to sign veterans.
Who's that?
Van Vliet,
the Rockets,
Dillon Brooks. Yeah, the Rockets.
But they still got a ton of lottery players.
Yeah,
but they were also criticized for those moves for overpaying for those guys.
I think it's so fascinating that I think it's been better for the Rockets' young players. Even
they got some grown-ups in the room.
They've got a guy like Reed Shepard who can't get minutes right now. And so that's that.
Cam Whitmore.
Certainly, there's some dilemmas to this, and they're going to have to jettison some talent that could build on its value if they could have minutes for them. It's not like Cam Whitmore does not have value, but if Cam Whitmore was playing, 25 minutes every night, he might have more value, even if you were to decide that he's not part of the project that you're building. So there's definitely criticisms. There's definitely downsides to the way they did it too. But I do ultimately I think my least favorite thing is a rebuilding team that refuses to go in. That's my least favorite thing. Yeah. It's just like, well, we're going to try to, like what the Jazz have done for 3 years. That's just, it's not good for anybody. I do appreciate, I think Houston's a really interesting case study, and you can look at the pros and cons of them doing it that way. But I do appreciate that they just went for it. They're like, here's 2 guys who fit the culture we're building, fit the team we're building. Van Vliet is like their second highest plus minus guy every night. Over the course of the season, it's
and they've hit on Amen Thompson as well, who's dealing with injury right now. I mean, they got a throwaway pick from the Oklahoma City Thunder, and oh, by the way, that turned into Alperen Şengün. They have done well.
They also have all of Phoenix's first-round picks.
I was going to say, they're still going to be adding talent. That's the other really important thing to know.
But I mean, whenever you get they got 3 or 4 primo first-round picks in a row, and I mean, Jabari Smith is the worst of them, and he's awesome.
Tari Eason is a great player. He's a really good player.
I mean, they were, they've just been on fire, and that parallel stay in Texas, that parallels. Kind of like the Spurs, where the Spurs got the one guy, they got Wemby, but then also, Devin Vassell's been really good.
Stephon Castle's gonna be a player.
Yeah, and Jeremy Sohan, Sohan I think was bottom of the lottery, maybe mid first round. I don't remember whenever exactly they took him, but they've taken a lot of really good players. The Mavs, for example, to come out of their most recent rebuild, it was the Luka draft. They got Luka and Brunson, but Brunson wasn't Brunson until Brunson was almost not on that contract anymore. They just they had the 1 year in the lottery. I mean, they got Dennis before that, but then after Luka, it was that was it. They were not drafting in the lottery anymore, and so the Mavs didn't have a bunch of young guys like the Rockets do, and then signed vets. The Mavs just signed vets.
Yeah.
So they kind of short circuited the rebuild a little bit and sped things up.
because that Luka guy was so good.
Yeah, but like the Rockets, for example, like I thought the Rockets were going to suck for a really long time, but they've just hit every single pick that they've made, and so they were only bad for 3 or 4 years too, and now all of a sudden it looks like they're going to be good for a decade.
I think the key to rebuild is just make sure you have like 5 or 6 first-round picks from other teams. You know, if you don't have that, you run into issues really quick. It doesn't matter how good your players are.
Yeah, for sure.
Dallas has definitely faced this, and you know, and Dallas is more or less kind of, you know, they were doing okay and getting by, and you know, and a lot of that was that they had, you know, there's 100 reasons for it, but they were going to hit some rough years even before the Luka trade. You know, it would have been the team building for the second half of Luka's career, if he had stayed in Dallas, was always going to be kind of difficult. And, you know, with how much Dallas had sent out, and it all stemmed from drafting Luka with a team that just had nothing. You know, its cupboard was barren, as the
but then they
as
found
the nursery rhymes say.
Yeah.
Well, then they found a way to succeed and actually get the guys around him that built him into a championship contender. Like in the midst of all of that, they've somehow found their way through systematic trades to get themselves in that position. So
yeah, but it's like, you know, if they would have had either a bunch of picks before that or gotten a bunch of picks after that or whatever, then if it doesn't work out, you're still in a pretty good position, right?
Sure.
But, you know, because essentially a ton of the team that was around right before they drafted Luka ended up retiring. Like Derek retired, JJ retired, Devin Harris retired. A bunch of those guys were gone. Wesley Matthews, they ended up trading as an expiring contract. Harrison Barnes, expiring contract. DeAndre Jordan, expiring contract. Like, all of the veterans that they would have held on to just kind of either retired or they traded away for cap relief and not picks. They couldn't cash out on any of that stuff, and it just kind of all went to waste. There was like there's nothing. Whereas the Rockets are going to keep adding and keep adding, and the Thunder are going to keep adding and the Spurs they have all the Hawks picks, right? Like, it's just, you know, those other teams. I don't know if that's the right way or the wrong way, because it could become the wrong way if you miss on your picks. Like, look at what happened in the process. Like Philly blew a bunch of those picks, and it still almost worked out for them, but it didn't. But like with the Mavs, like they just, as soon as they got Luka, they traded all their ones. Yeah, they've only used their first round pick a couple times since then. One was Josh Green, who they had to trade this summer in a multi-team deal. And another one was Derek Lively, and I want to see him play so desperately bad. Like, I need Derek Lively to be healthy soon, you know. So it's just it's a totally different situation.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things I am interested as the coming days and weeks is, or going into next year, I should say, what does Lively look like without that kind of gravitational pull from the guy that is no longer here?
Kai Jones is doing well, so I think Lively could.
Okay,
I think Lively could.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be one of the interesting things to find out going into next year.
Suns up 12 late. Suns up 10 late in the first half.
As they host the Chicago Bulls.
If Lively comes back this season, I will be furious if he doesn't attempt a 3.
He needs to. I think the thing that Kai Jones is doing is hanging out in the dunker spot, and that kind of thing is not really what big men were doing under the Luka Kyrie system, where you needed a big man to create switches, to create angles and all that stuff for Luka and Kyrie to create advantageous situations. The Mavs now are playing very egalitarian, very well spaced, where guys is looking for an angle and going. Everyone is kind of forcing it, and if you're able to beat your man, it's going to look awesome. You're going to get help. Kai Jones is going to get a dunk. If you can't beat your man, you're going to have to take a tough floater, or it's going to be a turnover and it's going to look really ugly.
Sure.
But I think that Lively, I mean, we saw Gafford play really well in that kind of system. I think Lively could too. Just so happens that, I mean, whenever Lively was playing, he was out there with Luka.
Are you trying to buy us dinner?
No, I'm trying to get us to the finish line.
We're about to go.
That was expertly done.
What kind of reception does THJ get on Friday night?
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
We'll talk about
I don't know.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
We're not. We still got 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm about to.
I think Timmy's going to get a video.
He should get a video.
A nice round of applause.
He
I think a nice round of applause.
It should just be his Game 7 Clippers 2021 series. Should be the highlights of the game.
Or Game 3 of the
that one too.
Of the NBA Finals.
Definitely not Game 4.
Fast Channel 59
Game 4
alert.
of the Finals.
Game 4 of the
Definitely
finals.
not Game 5.
Yeah, that's right.
No, we did exactly as much as we were supposed to tonight.
Right.
Good job, boys.
Boom.
We appreciate all of you joining us here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. We will be back tomorrow at high noon.
Yes,
right
we
here
will.
on DLLS Sports. Appreciate our producer Tanner to make us look good and sound good as always. Thank you, sir. That's our national NBA insider, Mark Stein. That is our Mavericks analyst, Bobby Krill. That is our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato. I am your host, Kevin Gray. We are DLLS Mavs. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the DLLS Mavs podcast at 12 p.m. Y'all be good. Talk to you later. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.